everyone. I want you to meet the mastermind behind straight up sales orthodontic coaching, and that is Brooke Oliphant. And she's not just a business whiz, but she really is a bona fide rock star here in the ortho world. And here's the deal. Brooke is on a mission to take orthodontists and treatment coordinators to the next level. Picture this: practice management, high-end sales, and really crafting an unforgettable client experience. And she really is acing it all. She's not just building careers, though. She's shaping dreams, and she's turning coordinators into like sales superstars. So I am seriously blown away by Brooke's entrepreneurial spirit, and I can't wait to hear the brilliant insights that she is going to bring to the table today. Again, Brooke, thank you so much for joining us here on the Retainers for Life webinar. It's over to you.
Thanks so much, Lorraine. I'm really excited to be here today and to get to share with everyone who's listening the powerful impact of modernizing your new patient experience. We all appreciate the evolution of orthodontics. I'm sure no one wants to go back to film and dark rooms and old school braces, bands around all of the teeth, even Holly retainers. So there's so much that we appreciate about the evolution of orthodontics. And what I see as a sales coach is that there's an opportunity to really dig into the new patient experience, how the consultation is conducted to earn more yeses, especially same-day yeses. I want the conversion rate for orthodontic practices to be high, to be healthy, and to see orthodontists and treatment coordinators, the entire team, really growing and succeeding. And as a business owner, it's challenging. And sales is your opportunity to be a healthy business. So hopefully we can all agree that the treatment coordinator position is a sales position. And then how is that position being trained? How is your prospect, your shopper, being brought into your practice? And what are the steps that you're taking to earn their trust to convert them from shopper to buyer? So that's where I focus as a sales coach for orthodontists and treatment coordinators, and as a practice growth advocate for the orthodontic community. So let's talk about just how you can go about reinventing your new patient experience to increase your conversion rate, to get more yeses. A little bit about me. My name is Brooke Oliphant. I have been an entrepreneur since I was 19. I spent a decade in dental and orthodontics as a practice manager and a treatment coordinator. I earned sales awards with OrthoFi, and then my career journey took me back to business ownership and creating straight up sales orthodontic coaching. My whole vision is empowering treatment coordinators to elevate sales success, to love their career and the impact that they have on their practice, and really the ability that the treatment coordinator has to embrace the professional vision, the career vision for the orthodontist, and then bring it to life. So when I was a treatment coordinator, I didn't have me on the screen for weekly calls and really an opportunity for this kind of training. And because my background was as a business owner, as a manager, as an employer, I looked at the 40, 50, 60% conversion rate that is common in orthodontic practices and the work of the treatment coordinator and even the structure of the new patient experience. And it wasn't good enough, in my opinion. I didn't like it. It was stressful, and it just didn't make sense to me to follow this script and send people out the door undecided and then spend so much time following up. It can be overwhelming. It can be discouraging to be a treatment coordinator. It's, of course, discouraging to the practice owner and the orthodontist when so many people are leaving without saying yes. And it's not a healthy business model to have a 50% conversion rate. So I went through a process of reinventing the consultation structure, the way that I showed up as a sales professional, how I hosted those meetings, and ultimately was able to achieve very high conversion rate, especially high same day sales, which is so fun, but also really the difference, in my opinion, between an average conversion rate and an award worthy, like a real peak performance sales conversion rate that doesn't come from a follow-up game, that comes from earning more same day contracts. So back to straight up sales and being a coach for treatment coordinators and orthodontists, I now empower all of that knowledge and experience, plus everything that I've learned from being in orthodontic practices as a coach all over the United States, into the lives and professional careers of orthodontists and treatment coordinators. Transforming your new patient experience is simply improving the sales process to match your prospect's expectations. What does your shopper need to experience and learn to say yes? And you would be surprised that it is very different, probably, than what you're doing. We want to transform treatment coordinators into rock star sales professionals. I want treatment coordinators to feel proud of the work that they're doing, to love it, because when we better our best, when we have wins, and when we would discover victories within our career, that is a positive momentum for even greater. Once you've had 3 out of 3 same day starts, you want 5 out of 5. Once you've had a week of 100% conversion, like, could it be 2? Once you've reached 80% conversion, well, then what does it take to get to 90%? So I want my treatment coordinators to be hungry for greatness. And the way that you get there is by knowing that it's possible. And then we're going to experience elevated success and financial growth for the practice because of all of that. So the doctor, the practice owner, they can set big goals for the treatment coordinator. You can know what your business needs to be healthy. But if the treatment coordinator isn't equipped with the confidence and skill sets necessary to achieve that, then it's like you're on 2 different islands or in 2 different books. And so the training that I offer, this perspective into selling as a treatment coordinator, really creates a bridge, creates an opportunity for the treatment coordinator to embrace that practice vision and then bring it to life. So I would like you to value these truths about your prospect. They researched you and chose to schedule with you. The assumption is that they have other options. There are other orthodontic practices within your area. They could go somewhere else. So whether their dentist referred them, a friend or family referred them, they looked online, they picked you, and that is by design. That is on purpose. They are aware of their wants and needs. This is not cold call sales. You did not pull someone aside in the grocery store and tell them that they should get their teeth straightened. Okay, so appreciate the fact that when they walk through the door, there is something that they're already aware of, and you need to learn what that is. They have other options. So if they don't start with you, they're going to start somewhere else. We're not in the business of talking people out of orthodontic treatment, and we also aren't in the business of pointing people in the direction of doing it through direct to consumer mail options. Okay, they want an orthodontist to guide their treatment, their transformation. That's why they're there. Okay, so we need to assume that if they don't start with us, they're starting somewhere else. What we know right now in this economy is that monthly affordability matters more than the total cost. So if you have people stuck on the price, they can't come up with the down payment, or the monthly payments are too high, the financing options are too rigid, they will go somewhere else. They could love you. They could want your treatment plan, your reputation more than their other options. But if they can't make it work in their budget, you may be pointing them in the direction of doing business with someone else simply because your financing is too rigid. So I would encourage you, if that is kind of triggering for you, that you evaluate what it is that you're offering and where that wiggle room needs to show up to earn more yeses. You have one chance. We always say it's a first impression. There's a first impression on your website, your social media. There's a first impression when they call the office with the front desk. And there's a first impression for this sales meeting. You don't get a second chance. So the way that you show up, the questions that you ask, the way information is presented, and the way that you connect their want, need, or desire with your service, you have one chance. And my whole goal is that that is a wow experience for your shopper. You need to set yourself apart. And that comes from personality, it comes from caring, it comes from compassion. And so, what are you doing? And are you doing it well enough? And I tell my treatment coordinators this all the time. It isn't just what you're doing, but it's how you're doing it. So, your structure could be great in theory, like on paper, but the way in which it's being executed comes across as mechanical, as trying to fit people into a box, maybe as following a script, or just a little bit disconnected. And I see it. Treatment coordinators who've been doing this a long time get comfortable or maybe burnt out. Like, it's hard to do something indefinitely that you feel like you're average at. It's hard to be stressed about not meeting sales numbers and practice goals and still have the kind of passion and fire and drive that would earn those same day commitments. Or if you're a newer treatment coordinator and you're just really in your head about things because you don't feel like you own every aspect of your position yet, that's another way that you're just kind of, there's a barrier. You're in your own way and maybe not delivering that wow experience that would really be the difference between earning someone's trust and commitment same day versus having them walk out the door undecided. So, what are you selling? And I'll give you this hint, it's not braces or aligners. If your sales conversation is really focused on the tech and tools that you are using to accomplish the treatment, you are selling yourself short. They know, your shoppers know before they even schedule with you that you do braces or aligners. They've been on the internet, right? They've been on social media, they've had a referral, they have an idea of what they want and don't want before they schedule with you. So if you're spending a lot of time talking about wires and bands, buttons, attachments, any of those kinds of things, you are taking them into a clinical or technical, into the weeds that is making it difficult for them to distinguish your practice over others. I hope that that makes sense for you. It's not that the tech and tools that you're using don't matter. Of course, your doctor has picked specific tools to accomplish treatment, and it's part of the end result. It's part of the experience. But if that's your sole focus, how is your shopper really going to be able to tell the difference between getting braces with you and getting braces with someone else? Or if they come in and say, I want this brand of aligners, and your price is $500 higher than the place down the road who also has that brand of aligners, how are you distinguishing yourself and communicating to the patient that doing treatment with you is in their best interest? So, as a reminder, you're not selling braces and aligners. Your communication style in that new patient experience needs to be very different so that you're setting yourself apart. Earning trust is a huge way that you are going to convert shoppers to buyers same day. And now I know we call them our new patients, but I like to distinguish that they aren't a new patient, your active new patient until after they've signed their contract. So it is the treatment coordinator's job to convert shoppers to buyers. And the biggest way to earn trust is to ask more questions. Think about it in any context. If someone is asking you to share, inviting you to communicate what you know, what you're excited about, what you're afraid of, and then you're providing information that is specific to those things, all of a sudden you're connected. Like, you're on the same page. Where if you bring someone into a consultation and just start giving information, you are missing an opportunity to earn trust and also for them to be bought into the experience. So I'll give a couple examples. We put photos and x-ray up on the screen to show our new patients. Well, as a treatment coordinator, and I did this originally, got the photos up and you're like, let me tell you all the things I see. Well, this is vulnerable for people. They've got their teeth and whatever it is that has motivated them to schedule this appointment on a big screen. That is scary. It can be intimidating. It can be emotional. And so as soon as you start pointing out and nitpicking, what if you put in order of priority, the thing you say first to the thing you say fifth, a different order of priority than theirs? Or you're pointing out things that they didn't even know existed, and therefore it didn't matter to them, and now they feel even more intimidated. Are they going to be likely to share now that they feel like they've been projected upon and are uncomfortable? No. But if you put those photos up and you say, tell me what brought you in. Tell me about your teeth. Tell me about your smile. What is it that you're hoping to accomplish? How can we help you? And they start sharing. You go, oh, I see that. Now you're validating. Now they're comfortable. Like they can see that you're an advocate for helping them get this solved, as opposed to someone who's just judging them. So that's one example. Another would be financial. If you suggest to someone at the beginning of the consultation, hey, we're so excited to get you started. Thanks for being here. We even have this option for you to get started today. And they go, oh, well, it'll depend on the cost. Now, they've shared that money is high on their priority list. It doesn't mean that they don't care about the treatment plan that's recommended, the tech and tools that are going to be used, appointment schedule, the personality of the practice. It's not that those things don't matter to them, but they're very nervous about the financials. If you save the financial conversation until the end of the appointment, after you've done all of the other things, they're not going to be bought into the rest of it. It's all going to sound too good to be true. Where if you immediately address that and say, I get it, it's an investment. We really pride ourselves on having flexibility in financing, in-house options, 0%, a low down payment, the ability to extend financing. I want to help you figure this out. I'm so happy that you're here. Now they're comfortable. You heard what they had to say because you invited them to share, and you responded to it immediately in a way that is reassuring, that is guiding. Now they're going to have the ability mentally and emotionally to connect with the rest of their experience and hopefully be more prone to communicate through any of those financial hurdles that would lead to the ability to make a decision. The treatment coordinator is the guide toward decision making, not just providing information and hoping, waiting for someone to tell you what they want to do next, but they're here with a problem that you can solve. So are you going to? And is that commitment today? Is that a yes today? Or is that a yes next week or next month after something is figured out? Or is it no? And if it's no, if you really aren't the right fit for someone, learn that so that you can send them on their way on a positive, happy note. They could still be a referral source for you, even if it isn't the right answer for them at this time in their life. But now you aren't wasting your time and energy in follow-ups with someone who wanted to say no, but you didn't give them the opportunity during the consultation. So all of this is leading to the reality that you need to know what your new patient already knows, what they believe, what they want, what they don't want, what they fear, and what they're excited about. The treatment coordinator needs to be an info gatherer from the second the appointment starts, so that if it's a consultation where the doctor is included, that the treatment coordinator can guide the doctor, can say, hey, I chatted with this person, it's aligners or nothing. Well, if you didn't know that yet, and the doctor comes in and says, this is a great braces case, 18 months, real excited to get you started. As soon as the doctor leaves, the treatment coordinator has an impossible uphill battle. The likelihood of that person picking your practice is really slim, because even if the treatment coordinator backtracks and says, hey, that's the recommendation, but now that I know you want aligners, we could do it that way as well. They're not bought in. They don't have the same kind of like belief or trust. Where if you start the consultation by learning that it's aligners or nothing, then you're able to talk about how that's going to work, what's the treatment process, what's the expected or estimated end result of that transformation, and then the doctor can do the same. So, what are our orthodontic shoppers looking for? I think anyone who's been in this industry a long time probably misses at least a little bit the days where patients came in with a paper, like a handwritten referral from their dentist, and whatever you said was their right answer. That's not the case anymore. So I think if you're frustrated that the reality of the way people shop has changed, you're simply holding yourself back. That is a resistance that isn't doing you any good. We need to embrace the fact that our current orthodontic shopper is well educated before they come to meet us. Maybe they're fearful, maybe they don't like the idea of phase one, maybe there's, what does it look like if we do surgery? What does it look like if we don't? Or is people who want compromised or limited treatment as opposed to the full deal, right? There's all of these things. So it is different. It's different to be an orthodontic provider. It's different to be a treatment coordinator now than it used to be, but that's not going away. This is our reality. So how do we embrace it and how do we work with it so that we aren't continuing to present a style of consultation, a sales conversation that's just simply missing the mark for most of our shoppers? It's by understanding, recognizing what it is that our shoppers are looking for and what it is that they already know, and then simply meeting with them differently. The conversation has to change for your conversion rate to increase. And it also reduces treatment coordinator stress. There's a lot of things to talk about in a consultation. And to get through that list in a way that doesn't feel like you're fitting someone into a box and taking them through a list means that you need to be quick at adapting. But it also is an opportunity for that conversation to more naturally unfold by you first asking questions and learning from your shopper before you start presenting information. So yes, there's things that you're going to talk about in almost every consultation, but where it fits into the conversation, whether you spend 30 seconds on it or 3 minutes on it, is going to depend on who you're sitting with if you're paying attention. The other thing that we know about our shoppers is that they need one single clear path forward. It doesn't work for the doctor or for the treatment coordinator to say, this could be braces or aligners, you pick. They knew that before they walked through the door, right? They already know that those are their possible options. They may also know that they really want one or the other. They may be looking for guidance. Hey, what's the fastest? What's the most efficient? What's going to give me the best end result? What's the most affordable? Like whatever it is that matters to them, if they're looking for your direction and your recommendation, it is important that by the conclusion or prior to the financial presentation within your consultation, that there has been an agreement made between your new patient and the practice, whether that's the guidance of the treatment coordinator, involvement with the doctor, however you get to that moment, that we know that this is our plan. This is the one path forward. And then you go into the financial conversation. But if you're still telling people you can have either will work, either will be great. It's not that you're downplaying what you're doing. You're trying to give the decision back to the patient. I get it. It doesn't work. Those are the people who go home to think about it. And those are the people, if they go to another consultation and that office says, this is in your best interest, they're starting with that person, because they don't have to think about it for themselves. They don't have to solve it or figure it out for themselves. So they're looking for your authority. They're looking for your confidence. They're looking for your guidance. And that comes by narrowing down options to one single path forward during your consultation. You are their guide toward decision-making. I know I've said that multiple times leading up to this point, but answer questions with questions where necessary until you really know what it is that they're asking. What do they need to learn or hear from you to make a decision? This involves treatment coordinators talking less. This freedom. Now, I've never met a treatment coordinator who can't be friends with everyone. And treatment coordinators are always fantastic at talking and communicating, but we need to speak less so that the patient has an opportunity to share and participate in the decision making for the purpose of getting started. Not just providing information so that you're providing information. And that's how it used to be for me. It was like, just throw everything out there and hope something sticks. That's a lot more work. And when they leave without committing, it's really difficult to know where you missed the mark. Where here, if you're asking questions, inviting, sharing, and communicating information that is specific to those wants, needs, fears, then that conversation is custom, it's tailored to that one individual. And it just opens the door for this kind of conversation and communication between the prospect and treatment coordinator that would really allow the treatment coordinator to know if they aren't getting started, why? What's the thing that's holding them back? So being an active listener, super important. And then to remember that you're selling a relationship and a transformation. It's like what I said before. If we're not selling specifically the tech and tools, we're not selling this brand of braces or this brand of aligners, we're selling a relationship and a transformation. We are selling an end result that is going to be best accomplished because of the combination of tools selected by the doctor and predominantly the vision and skill set and expertise of the doctor to accomplish that. It is very important as a treatment coordinator that you are helping people understand that it's not an apples to apples comparison. The same set of teeth in the same face is going to have 5 different end results by 5 different orthodontists. So as you are really leaning into selling the relationship and selling the transformation, you will see an increase in case acceptance. Your conversion rate will go up because you are earning trust and you are connecting a solvable problem with your service. So what are you potentially doing to limit your growth? The treatment coordinator is the advocate for the practice growth. Okay, all sales goes through that path. And so before someone is an active new patient, they're a shopper that needs to be converted to a buyer. There are things that you can be doing in that sales process that is essentially self-sabotaging. It could be if your practice doesn't run on time, that including the doctor in every consultation is a way in which you are limiting growth potential. If we've got, no matter how many doctors you have in your practice, you have a giant team around that person. I mean, even if it's 1 doctor to 6 team members, 2 doctors to 12, or I worked in a practice, those 2 doctors and over 20 supporting team members, that is a lot of team members that can be working at any given time, but wherever you need the doctor can become kind of the limiting point, right? Where if you need to see more consultations, if you're scheduling people out a couple weeks and then struggling with cancellations or no-shows because you're not getting them in fast enough, including some doctorless consultations within that, could be a way of increasing production and without challenging the doctor time. Could be limited financial options, which I know we previously talked about. So really considering what matters from a financing and financial perspective for your shoppers. And then are you meeting those needs? Or do you have a financial design that is basically forcing people to go do business with someone else? If your practice is not incentivizing TC sales performance, so if we don't have a production goal or a starts goal with some sort of a compensation structure around meeting and exceeding that, you are limiting growth potential. This isn't about just discounting treatment. It's not about the practice spending even more on the treatment coordinator, but you're in a sales position, and sales across every industry is either 100% commission or a base plus commission scale, and it motivates performance. So I highly recommend practices to have something in place that uh, encourages sales based on what the practice needs. So maybe that's bonusing the treatment coordinator for same day commitments. Maybe it's bonusing the treatment coordinator for pay in full. Maybe it's bonusing after meeting a baseline production goal. Whatever it is, it's going to increase case acceptance. It will benefit the practice, and you will see a healthier bottom line. Running behind is bad for business. So if you're seeing that you don't have a lot of active patient or past patient referrals into your practice and you run behind, maybe it's that the experience delivered, the collective overall experience delivered, didn't exceed their expectations. You want to make raving fans. Treatment coordinators can create raving fans from day one. You can have people referring the practice before they've even started treatment, which is incredible. But that needs to maintain through the entire experience. So that's where I go back to, if the doctor's included in every consultation, is that limiting growth? If a prospect is waiting in the consultation for the doctor to show up and the treatment coordinator is saying things like, we don't typically run behind, or I'm sorry, it'll just be 5 more minutes, you're wasting their time and you're diminishing the wow factor of that first impression. We see that our shoppers these days, they want efficiency. If your consultation's 60 minutes, but it could be 45, they want it to be 45. And if it's 45 and it feels to them like you wasted some of their time and it could have been 30, then it should be 30. So when I'm working with treatment coordinators and we look at all of the components of the consultation, the new patient experience, sometimes it's identifying what can come earlier in the process if we are waiting on the doctor, so that the appointment is still moving forward from the perspective of the patient, that we aren't putting a pause button because we're waiting for the doctor. It's still moving forward with valuable information, and maybe even to the point that it is a doctorless consult that the doctor is going to show up to later in the process. Right? I'm sure that there are lots of doctors who would love to walk into a consultation and see a contract being signed and meet their new patient and do an exam there, as opposed to walking into someone who's been waiting for 5, 10, 15 minutes, feels rushed, and all of a sudden the treatment coordinator is going to be running behind. Now they feel stressed. Maybe there isn't enough time after the doctor leaves to really dig into the financial presentation in a way that allows for decision making. And now you've sent someone out your door, maybe undecided, a little bit irritated, and probably off to the next option. So consider in your workflow, in your practice, in your new patient experience, if that is something that is a pain point, then there's definitely ways of reworking it, of modernizing your experience to meet the needs of your patients. Clear and motivating sales goals are really important. When I'm working with treatment coordinators and they don't really know the difference between 20 starts and 40 starts in a month, it doesn't really matter to them. Like, they're there doing their job. They like their job. It's not that it's a disconnectedness from the position. It's just that there aren't goals outlined to help the treatment coordinator understand what's needed of their position. And I'll hear doctors say that they don't want to stress out the treatment coordinator, but it is important. Again, this is a sales position. The treatment coordinator needs to know what the expectations and needs are of the position, so that you can do the best that you can possibly do within the parameters of what's available to you, right? Like, treatment coordinator is still at the mercy of who's scheduled, and is the schedule full, and are people showing up, and is insurance verified? There's all of these components, but once you're face to face with someone, knowing what you need to accomplish on behalf of the practice definitely it's a valuable reframing that does help treatment coordinators show up differently in that meeting. And then if your treatment coordinator has limited sales authority, if your treatment coordinator ever needs to step out of the consultation to ask a question of someone else before getting someone started, their authority is devalued. You're basically teaching your new patient from day one that you can go around the person that you've put in a position to someone higher to get what you want. So whether this is splitting a down payment, combining payments for multiple patients in the same family to get started at the same time, whether it's extending out the financing on a contract or something associated with scheduling, you need to basically have the framework of what is ideal. And then here is the leeway or the parameters that the treatment coordinator has to deviate from that without leaving the room. And this is how you maintain that amazing experience and also maintain kind of authority and guidance that is important for the treatment coordinator to have as you're beginning potentially a multi-year relationship with someone. So, benefits of incorporating doctorless exams. It works in some practices, it doesn't work in others. It really boils down to preference, business model, doctor personality. I believe in it. I've done it as a treatment coordinator. I've helped practices build this into their workflow. It does increase conversion rate. It does increase case acceptance. And it also just increases treatment coordinator buy-in to their position and this awareness of the ability to influence practice growth and get people started all on their own. So it's beautiful all the way around. But I will say that it's a top-down decision. So if it's something that the doctor does not want to do, then it's not going to work. But benefits of incorporating it is that you're going to increase practice profitability. You're going to work more efficiently. Now we're not waiting for the doctor to come into the consultation. The treatment coordinator is able to go through the elements, kind of the different phases of the consultation more quickly or seamlessly because it doesn't have to take a pause to include the doctor. You are able to see more consultations because statistically these doctorless exams are shorter. This can improve doctor time. So for your phase 2 starts, your OBS ready to start, existing family members coming back, or just your really cut and dry, like, yes, this is 18 months of braces on a teenager. They practically walk through the door with their credit card already in their hand. There are a lot of scenarios where it is natural for it to be doctorless. And so if those are the ones that you're doing that way, what you'll find is that you're able to keep the doctor in the clinic more. You're empowering treatment coordinator leadership and that confidence that comes from knowing that you're great at your job, that you're able to earn sales independently, grow the practice, meet and exceed sales goals. In a way that benefits everyone. It's a great experience for the patient. It's a great experience for the treatment coordinator. It's great for the doctor. You're building your practice while really capitalizing on doctor time in the clinic. Because if you're in a place where you want to grow, you want more starts, you want to elevate a case acceptance, you have to find somewhere to relieve doctor time. There's only 60 minutes in every hour. So if we can't add consultations to the schedule because we don't have enough doctor time, then this is a great way of working around that. And it does elevate the new patient experience, especially for those who are really efficient. They want it to be a quick appointment. They just want their answer for how to get started. This is great for that type of shopper. And maybe as you're listening to this, you're worried about the treatment coordinator being 100% responsible for the new patient experience. I have worked with treatment coordinators with zero dental and ortho background who within their first 90 days as an employee of the practice are already hosting doctorless consultations with a very high same-day start conversion. Okay, this isn't something that's just for seasoned treatment coordinators. And especially if you rework the way that you're communicating with your shoppers and, modernizing, as I titled this presentation, but modernizing your new patient experience so that it is really about your shopper and less about you as a practice. You would discover you don't need to know a lot about teeth or orthodontics to earn same-day commitments. So we'll throw that out there. But whether you have a newer treatment coordinator or a seasoned treatment coordinator, if as a practice manager, an owner, or an orthodontist, you think about your treatment coordinator not being capable of hosting a doctorless consultation, then this is a wake-up call that your treatment coordinator has been limited in their training or limited in their authority, limited in their ability to grow professionally in ways that are holding your practice back. So this is, I guess, a wake-up call to really lean in and improve your treatment coordinator training and empower your TC to be a sales leader for your practice. Now, maybe as a doctor, you just don't like the idea of doctorless exams. I get it. This is your career. You want to meet who you're going to start. You don't want to miss something. All of those are valid. They're valid. They're key points. I get it. But today's orthodontic shopper is looking for efficiency. They've already done a lot of research. They know that they want to work with you. They've been on your website. They know more than you think they know. And before they become your new patient, shoppers need to be converted to buyers. Okay. So I see a lot of times if you're a practice with a 50 or 60% conversion rate, think about it from this perspective. 40 to 50% of the 5 to 10 minute appointments, consultations that you are attending as the doctor, those people are not doing business with you. That's a lot of your time that is going to a sales process that's currently inefficient. So if you're being more protective of your time, you could consider that incorporating some doctorless consults or these flyby or reduced doctor time. So it could be that it's a doctorless until the treatment coordinator has someone to a point of saying, yes, let's get started. I'm excited. And then you're like, fantastic, let me call the doctor in. And all of a sudden, the doctor is primarily attending consultations for people who are starting, not just for people who are shopping around. I promise you, your treatment coordinator can sell, they can earn trust, they can communicate the relationship and the value of the transformation and the really authority and skill set of the doctor, what sets you apart in the industry. Your treatment coordinator can do all of that for you. And they should. You put them in that position. So I say this all the time, your conversion rate is a direct reflection of your sales process. If it's not good enough, then hopefully that's an eye opener for you. But also, we can always better our best. Things don't have to be broken before you look to make them better. We are in an ever evolving and changing industry. And so if you are forward thinking with a growth mindset, then you should be always looking at your team training, your sales process, your new patient experience from the perspective of how can we better our best? And do we have a solid foundation to navigate the highs and lows of being an entrepreneur, the economy, changes in shopping? So these sales excuses can limit your growth potential. It could be that you're telling yourself all the time, people just shop around more than they used to. There's direct to consumer treatment, the economy, cost of treatment, cost of employment, maybe competition. Any of these things, if this is the story that you're telling yourself, you're holding yourself back. These are limiting beliefs. I'm self-sabotaging in association with sales, with owning and growing a business. Of course, those things are true. But if you just use them as an excuse that helps you sleep better at night, but not as an opportunity to reinvent or evolve to better your practice or improve your sales experience to work around those things, then it's a little bit like quitting. I say that we don't stay in the same place ever. We're either going forward or backwards. I want you to be going forward, which means if you're telling yourself any of these excuses as a way of justifying what's happening in your practice or your sales process, they need to be used as motivation to make changes, not just as a justification for the way things are going. Your goal needs to be the same day contract. And it's not a same day start necessarily, it's a same day contract. And differentiating between the two is important. I talk with a lot of practices, they don't have the capacity to same day start everyone. In some practices, a same day start is a scan because of custom brackets or aligners. So that's an easier same day start. But either way, the goal of the treatment coordinator should be same day contract. And the way that you go from a 50 to 60% conversion rate to an 80 to 90% conversion rate is by earning more same day commitments. Some data from OrthoFi says that as soon as a patient leaves, your conversion rate drops 20 to 50%. If it's a same day contract and same day start, whether that's bonding something, scanning, if it's a same day contract plus same day start, you've got 100% retention. Same day contract, they're scheduled to come back to start treatment. A little over 1% of those people annually are going to change their mind. That is not of concern. This is where you want to be. Same day contract, even if it's a same day, even if it's a start on a different day, is exactly where you want to be. Now, scheduled to sign their contract and start treatment, we see that 20% of those people disappear. They're telling you what you want to hear to your face, or you've given them an opportunity because they didn't sign their contract same day to continue shopping around, to have something else show up in their life that's going to take priority over getting started. So you do have a loss. That doesn't mean that you would ever want to let someone leave without scheduling, because as soon as they leave your office without anything scheduled, you've got over 50% loss in those shoppers. You probably won't even hear from them again in follow-up efforts. That's another reason why I talk a lot with my treatment coordinators about asking for no, really understanding why someone isn't getting started. And if it isn't a good fit, allowing no to be an option, so that you're protective of your follow-up pool and are really able to nurture those follow-up relationships without spending time chasing people who aren't interested. So some encouragement. Even in this economy, and really in any economy, you can better your best, you can get comfortable, you can start sliding backwards. The choice is yours. Information without implementation is simply information. So I encourage you, take whatever nuggets and figure out how to apply it to your practice. Reach out to me. I want to help you, but you can grow professionally. You can exceed expectations, and you can become incredible at sales and experience greater success, even if your schedule isn't full. I see it all the time. 60% conversion last year, 80% conversion this year for the same month with fewer scheduled appointments. It is because you're being protective of your bottom line. So you're not over discounting, and you're starting more people same day. Change requires taking action in a new direction, and the choice is yours. So like I said, information without implementation, it's not going to do anything for you. So if you're inspired, if you're excited, if you have questions, lean in, dig in, make changes, try something new so that you have an opportunity for better. As your coach, your elevated success is guaranteed. I've never worked with someone who doesn't go from wherever they are right now to significantly better. The wins are so cool because they're personal. The coaching journey is individualized. And so your success is my whole focus. If you would like more information, please reach out. Straightupsales.com is where you're going to get information and start your application process for private coaching. I offer a call so that we can get on and get to know each other. I can answer questions and provide you with a vision of growth. Kind of what are you leaving on the table and what can we accomplish by working together? So I want to say thank you to Lorraine and Retainers for Life, sharing this information with the Retainers for Life community, and everyone throughout orthodontics is a pleasure. So thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.